Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. On today's show, we've got some interesting stuff to discuss, including the conclusion of Year 1 of Street Fighter 6, some interesting acquisitions in the gaming landscape, AI misbehaving, and, of course, today is a new game premiere with Hellblade 2 all day long. So, a lot going on, and we'll be talking about all this and more on today's episode of the Level 1 Podcast. Alrighty, everybody, so good morning, and welcome to the show. Today is Tuesday, the 21st of May, 2024. I'm Darkside Phil. I hope that you're all doing well, and I hope that you will join me today for some fun new stuff with a new game release, something different, for sure, good variety, and I hope it turns out as well as the original iteration years ago. Of course, we're talking about Hellblade 2. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a moment. I don't want to, get ahead of myself here. Because we do have some other things to discuss today. Jasper Kitty is in the room, so I'm moving the cords around, so hopefully he will not bite them too much. But, he does what he wants. And today, of course, is the first of basically a string of new release content. Today we've got Hellblade 2 all day. Tomorrow we've got the new Street Fighter 6 update all day. And then we're alternating between those two for a while. Then we've got a marathon coming up this Saturday of indie games. So, pretty fun, good stuff. Always trying to get attention. So, where do we start? Where do we begin? Right? With all these topics to discuss. I guess we should start doing a brief recap of what yesterday was all about, which was basically Fallout 4 on the first stream, and it was great progress, continuing on with some side questing, some main questing with the Brotherhood. I actually got 2 new melee weapons, which are making my build a little bit more fun rather than just being the same thing over and over. And overall, a great chill stream, good interaction, engagement, and everyone had a good time. But I had to warn everyone that basically I'm not playing it now for a while. If you look at the schedule for this week, it's jam-packed with new stuff, which we're going to talk about in a moment. So because of that, Fallout 4 is going on a little bit of hiatus. It's not that, I don't want to play it, or it's not good, or, it's going on indefinite hold or anything like that. But with all the stuff going on in the next week, that always takes precedence, especially new release stuff. So, yeah, Fallout 4 will return soon, but just not yet. Likely it's going to be about a week before we even get a chance to try to put it into the schedule again. Okay? If that, because even next week there's more new stuff. Right, Jasper? He knows. Anyway, so then, last night, it was the last hurrah stream for Street Fighter 6 Year 1. I'm going to be honest with everyone. I wish that it had gone better. I wish that we had more people. I wish that we had more engagement, and that people were more excited for it. For some reason, it didn't seem like people were very excited for the final Street Fighter 6 stream. I don't know why. Being that it's been a whole year of me covering fighting games in an increased capacity, and playing them at a much higher level than I have played fighting games for like the last decade. And like I said, the last time I actually was like trying to get good at fighting games was probably back in the Street Fighter 4 days. And even then it was probably like just like the first or second iteration. After that, I kind of just covered fighting games casually after that. So, I thought maybe we get a good crowd last night. Honestly, it was on the slower side. We didn't have as many people. The engagement was much lower. And honestly, the stream didn't go as well as I would have liked either. I'm trying to play this game, and it's funny because right out of the gates, connections, claims 40 to 50 millisecond connection, half my inputs drop. Can't block stuff on reaction. Literally can't jump at all on a reaction. I'm fighting a Blanca who, from full screen, is doing the meter burned version of the jumping throw. All you need to do is hold up, and it won't do it. It is so delayed, I can't jump out of a throw. And then when I was in the corner, I'm just holding up to get out of the corner, and if they hit me, at least I flop back and juggle. Instead, it hits me clean as if I'm just standing there not holding up. And it's like, what is this? There was one thing that happened. I couldn't even believe it. I've been playing the game for a year. I've never seen this, okay? So I jumped over someone with Blanca. It was an empty jump, meaning I pressed no button, held no direction. It was just a clean, empty jump. I landed on the other side. Now, in any fighting game, yes, even in Street Fighter, when you empty jump over someone, immediately the game autocorrects, meaning it flips your character around to face the opponent who's now behind you. Well, I empty jumped, and I saw that the opponent was doing an unsafe move. And I said, aha, if I do drive impact here, I can stuff this move. So I empty jump over the opponent. As soon as I hit the ground, I drive impact. Blanca drive impacts the wrong direction. Like, he just continues to move to the right, even though the character is all the way on the left. He's attacking in the wrong direction. You're not supposed to be able to do that. So I'm like, what just happened? I'm like scratching my head, like, I don't even know how that happened. Because it's not supposed to be possible in this game engine. And I've been playing the game for a year and never seen it. So, for me, I'm like, what the hell? It was just a weird night. For me, anyway. And it was disappointing because I wanted to go out with, like, a last hurrah victory scream of, hey, here's my best character, let's do it. And by the way, there were matches where I dominated. There were matches where the connection actually worked really well. And I just outright dominated the opponent, mixing them up high, low. I did a really cool mix-up in the corner with the Blanca-chan, where it wasn't the standard combo that I usually do. It was actually a mix-up, where I purposefully did, like, a different activation, and then I caught them with the overhead, and then it went into a different combo. And I was able to end the combo with a level 3 super, and it did insane damage and a big mix-up reset. And I was like, wow, that's probably the best corner combo I've ever done with Blanca. So that was good. But the problem was, for every good match that I had, there was an equally bad, shitty, laggy, input dropping, can't do anything on reaction match. So here's the thing about Street Fighter 6 Year 1. It's a great game. It really is. It's not balanced very well. The top tier is very dominant, okay? But at the same time, a lot of fighting games have been like that. I mean, Super Turbo was like that, honestly. For me, I can see this game being like a masterpiece offline, seriously, but online, it's frustrating because I don't like rollback netcode. It drops so much, and it just really pisses me off. And for me, I just get so angry when I don't lose to being outplayed with skill or lack of knowledge. If I'm outplayed by someone because they're just outright playing better, reacting to what I'm doing, punishing what I'm doing, that's one thing. When I have a lack of knowledge, so I don't know a character, right? Like those first few times I'm fighting Ed. I don't even know what Ed can do, and he's just beating my ass, right? Okay, got it. I lose to that. Either one of those cases is fine, because you can learn from those losses. You can't learn when you're playing online. You know exactly what to do. You do it, and the game refuses to give it to you. Every time Blanca's doing this stupid throw, I'm holding up, and the game says, oh, you never held up, just get thrown. Well, then fuck this. Why am I playing it, right? That's the feeling you get. You get this feeling of, like, defeat and resignation because there's no point in struggling to win if the game isn't going to react to what you're inputting. So, and again, you can argue a million things. Maybe it's because I'm playing on PS5, right? And PS5 has more input delay. I don't know. You know? Why is it that the vast majority of people that I play on PC? Almost 100%. Like, the ratio is ridiculous. Like, it's 80-90% of people in Master are playing on PC. It's very rare when I play someone on PS5. It's like once or twice a night out of, like, you know, a ridiculous amount of people I play. There's something there. And I don't have a gaming PC to play this game on, right? So anyway, it sucked because I really wanted to go out like a big, awesome last hurrah. And quite frankly, number one, there just weren't a lot of people on the stream as I would have expected there would have been. And number two, it didn't go well anyway. So that is a little disappointing. What I'm hoping is that obviously tomorrow, with the release of Akuma, with the release of the big rebalance, there will be reinvigorated interest in the game. I hope, because, you know, this is something big that I want to cover in the next month. I want to play a lot of Street Fighter 6 and show the differences and learn the differences and maybe have Akuma as a new character that I play. I don't know, because here's the thing. I played Rashid, and at first I thought he was all right, but then I kind of realized I didn't like his gameplay style because he seemed more like a tricks character. He tricks you in the corner. Outside of that, he couldn't really do much else. He doesn't seem that good from, like, mid-screen. then Aki, oh my god, forget it. Like, Aki, not only is she a high execution character, but then on top of that, she's actually not that good anyway. So it was like, what a bunch of work for nothing. And Ed, I didn't even bother with, right? So Akuma is like the last chance of a new character they've added to the game that I might actually like. I hope I do. I mean, Akuma is a classic character that's been around since Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. So you would hope this is a character that I'll end up liking, but I don't know. You know, this game takes characters that previously played in a certain way and completely changes them up to play different ways that they've never played like before. So I don't know if I'm going to like Akuma or not. I'm going to give him a shot. I really am. I know how to play with Akuma from various previous games. That doesn't mean anything about how I'm going to play him in this one or how he plays in this one. It could be completely different, right? So we shall see how it goes tomorrow. But anyway, for the last hurrah, Street Fighter 6, sadly, it didn't really go that well. I wish that it had been a better set. I wish that it had been a better final outing for year one. But it just wasn't. And I just hope that's not a sign of things to come. I do hope that with all the new stuff, you know, people are going to care and show up and hang out and get excited again. Like, people were really excited for Street Fighter 6 when it came out last year, right? Me included. I liked that feeling of hype, that feeling of excitement, that feeling of this is something new and we're all doing it together, right? It was cool. I hope we can get that back tomorrow. I want that feeling back tomorrow, you know? All right, anyway, so that was last night. Today is the release of Hellblade 2. So let's talk about this, because already I'm seeing insane amounts of stupidity and misinformation in the chat about this game. All right, Hellblade 2, or Senua's Saga, is the sequel to the 2017 game, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Okay, if you played the game, you know all about what it's like, but for those who didn't, allow me to explain. All right, Hellblade is a game that is mostly narrative-based, okay? There's definitely gameplay elements, combat, puzzles. I would argue it's like God of War light. And what I mean by that is, like, some of the combat and stuff takes elements from, like, a game like God of War, and some of the puzzles you have to solve, for sure. In fact, the visuals also kind of look like God of War from that time period. But it definitely is a less of a focus on gameplay elements and more of a focus on narrative, graphics, sound design, and essentially a cinematic experience. Okay? I remember when I played Hellblade 1, I originally didn't play it when it was a new release, and people were like, oh, you're missing out. Like, this game actually is quite good. You really should check it out. So eventually I did, and when I did, I was legit blown away. I was like, I had no clue. First of all, I couldn't believe this game had been made by Ninja Theory, which is not a ginormous AAA studio, by the way. It's not like there's some giant studio with unlimited budget. You know, they're not known for these giant scale games. And they made this game, and it looked so good. I was like, this is like almost best-in-class visuals at the time. In 2017, I was like, well, how does it look this good, right? And I remember playing through it, and here's the thing. The game is constantly making you wonder what's going on, because the whole premise is that the main character has some kind of like mental illness or mental break where she's hearing voices, she's seeing things, and you don't know what's real and what's not. Like, you literally can't tell in the game what's happening. And that's intentional. Like, that's actually legit intentional, that you're supposed to always be guessing and wondering. Is this something that's haunting her from the past and she's fighting through it in her mind? Or is this legit real in real life? Is she being attacked by real people and things? Like, what is going on? So in that regard, as a narrative-based game, all right, with amazing visuals at the time, it absolutely works. Now, it's also a short game. I remember that game was what, like, I want to say Hellblade 1 was probably around, like, maybe like 10 hours, 8 hours. I can't remember, actually. I wonder, hold on. I can actually look that up, how long my playthrough was. I don't know why I didn't do that, because I was curious, how long was the first game compared to the second? So, give me a second here. Here, content. Hellblade. So here it is, from August 2017. And by the way, I had no idea that this was 7 years old. It doesn't feel that old, does it? It really doesn't feel like Hellblade was 7 years old. So my playthrough was 32 parts. Each part was around 10 to 15 minutes. They varied. And the last part was a half an hour. So if you do the math, probably around 6 to 7 hours, all right, for this game. Not the longest game, correct? I mean, that's pretty short. But, again, that is what they're going for. They're going for a shorter cinematic experience, all right? Ultimately, I remember when I beat the first Hellblade, I was like, wow, I really like that game, and I have no idea what just happened. Like, seriously, like, you beat it, and you're like, I don't know what just, was that all real? Is she just imagining this entire scenario in her mind? Like, what's going on, right? Also, one people should realize is that this series is not a full-fledged retail series. They're not charging $70 for these games. I don't know what the cost of Hellblade was when it released in 2017, but it was not, you know, 60, 70 bucks. It was probably like 30, 40 bucks, something like that. So they know that it's a shorter game, so they're going to, you know, not charge you full price, okay? So anyway, with that being said, all right, I liked the first game. I actually genuinely enjoyed it and had a good time with it, despite the fact that after I beat it, I really didn't know what was going on. Right? I was like, oh, okay. So, here we are 7 years later. Hellblade 2, okay? So, everyone on the internet, of course, is talking about it today, and the reviews are out, and it's hilariously mixed, okay? You got some people who are like, all right, so, the visuals, again, pretty much best in class. Like, you're going to be blown away with how Hellblade 2 looks, because they really worked hard on these visuals to make them look amazing, whether you're playing on Xbox or PC. However, the game runs at 30 frames on Xbox, just like the first one. The Hellblade 1 was 30 frames, Hellblade 2 is 30 frames. Now on PC, depending on your hardware, you can push the visuals, and you can get it 60 frames or higher, but it's really more depending on your hardware setup. On Xbox, you're playing it on 30 frames no matter what. Okay? Audio, supposedly, the audio is ridiculously amazing. They did all this directional audio and different things with the audio that's supposed to be, like, groundbreaking. But I have a neck phone surround setup that's supposed to have surround sound. Sometimes it works well, and other times not so much. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to hear this. You guys won't hear it, because on YouTube, they don't do directional audio. Yeah, YouTube, it only does the, like, stereo or whatever, from what I'm to understand. I heard that there are ways to do it, but a standard stream like mine, you're not going to get surround audio. So sadly, probably neither I or you are going to get the full experience of what this game would be like if you were, like, sitting in a surround sound room or had, like, surround sound high-end headphones on. You're just not going to get that here, okay? Gameplay. From what I'm to understand, Hellblade 2 is very, very much like the first game. Is there combat? Yes. Are there puzzles? Yes. But for the most part, you're walking around exploring in a world that's incredibly unique and visually stunning, but confusing. You can't tell what's real and what's not, or if anything is even real. The story is cryptic, and you're trying to piece together the pieces of the story to understand the game. It's pretty much the same game as the first one, only it's not the same story. You know, the story's continuing. So if you liked Hellblade 1, you're going to like Hellblade 2, you know? If you don't like that, if you're looking for a game that has robust, amazingly challenging combat and stuff like that, this doesn't have it. If you're looking for a game that's 40 hours long, because for some reason gamers have now been, like, trained to expect an insane amount of gameplay out of any new game, then you're not going to like this game either. The game is going right for what the first game was, only advancing that story and pushing the visuals and audio. Some people will argue it's a tech demo. Okay? Well, alright, maybe it's a tech demo. But, is it entertaining? Are you immersed? Is it fun where it catches you and you want to keep going? That's the real question. How many games out there have a ton of gameplay, but within a few hours you're bored? Right? I'm going to be honest with you. Dragon's Dogma 2. That's a game that apparently has insane amounts of gameplay, but you play it for like 5 hours, you've seen almost everything besides a few of the big monsters, you know the gist of the game. So, what's the point? Right? Like, what's the point of a game that you're just already, say, alright, here we go, grind for another 80 hours now, same fucking game, right? For me, and this is my personal experience, you can disagree, and that's fine. Everyone has different tastes. I would prefer a game that no matter when I'm playing it, I'm having a good time, I'm riveted, I'm hooked, and I want more. As opposed to a game that delivers an incredible amount of content, but it's all repetitive and not interesting and kind of boring. You know what I'm saying? So, there you go. I'm just like, you know, and I will compare this to a game a million years ago none of you will remember. The Darkness 2. None of you will remember that game, okay? It was a game that I played early on in my YouTube career. And I remember when The Darkness 2 came out, I hadn't played The Darkness 1, so I had no clue if I was going to like it. But at that point, I was trying to cover all the hot new releases, and this was one for this particular week. And I remember there were other games out at the time as well. And when I played The Darkness 2, okay, basically, here's what happened. I started playing it, and I was immediately hooked by interesting gameplay elements, but a story. Even though the game was supposed to be based around this first-person shooter gameplay with, like, tendrils and monsters, I was hooked by the story. And the funny part about Darkness 2 is it's a very short game. It's about, I think I want to say it's 5 to 6 hours long. So it's a very short experience. But every moment you're playing, you're interested and riveted by what's going on. There's a dual story plotline where you don't know if you're really there or if you're in a nut house and imagining all of it. Does that sound familiar? I mean, it's kind of similar to the plot of the Hellblade games, right? So it's very mysterious in that regard. So I beat The Darkness 2, okay? And then I went on to play the other games for the week. And at the end of the week, I always kind of did like a review or whatever. I was like, The Darkness 2 is the best game that I've played in a while. It's like 6 hours long, but every moment I played it, I loved my time in it. It was fun. It was interesting. It kept me thinking. The story was engaging. And at the end, it had a good ending. I was like, that was a great game. The other games I'm playing are more gameplay centric, but they're just not that interesting. This game hooked me, right? And I think that's what they're going for with the Hellblade series. They know that with the style of game they're making and the budget they have and the production that they're putting on, they're not trying to beat other games. You're not going to play Hellblade 2 and be like, holy shit, that combat engine is so much better than God of War Ragnarok, right? No one's going to say that. The point is they're trying a different thing. If you're into that, then by all means, stick around today on my streams and check it out. I'm playing this all day. And the reports are, if you know how to play the game and you absolutely rush through it and you ace every puzzle and you beat every fight on the first try, you can literally beat this game in like 5 hours. But for most people, you're going to walk around and explore. You're going to be wanting to understand the lore and look for items. You're going to take your time immersing yourself in the world. And then the game could be anywhere from 8 to 10 hours long. Okay? Probably, you know me, with the interaction, everything we do on the streams, likely it's going to be longer than that for me. I would guess that this playthrough probably will be around 10 hours for me. Because, you know, with me talking with you guys and everything, it always takes a little bit longer. So, that is actually why I'm playing it all day. Because I wanted to get a good chunk into it. If we play it all day today and I get like 5 hours in, arguably we'll be halfway through the game. And that means that over the next coming week, I can continue to play it and beat it. And then we could, you know, in 1 week. As opposed to, if I just played it one stream today, and I only played it in one stream increments, we're talking probably 4 streams to beat it, and that could take like 2 weeks. Who the hell wants to take me 2 weeks to beat an 8 to 10 hour game, right? So that's why I'm playing it so much today, because I know some people question, why is Phil, he almost never plays the same game all day long, why is he doing it like that? I want to get a big jump into it, okay? Okay, but here's the thing. I'm just going to say it right now. I am absolutely not going to put up with people who just want to be negative people in the chat about this style of game. If you're someone who likes Dark Souls games, this is not Dark Souls. If you're someone who likes God of War, this is not going to be the length of God of War, all right? And it's not going to have the robustness and the complexity of the gameplay engine of God of War, all right? The one thing this game is supposed to excel on is the visuals. So let's look at that. Let's focus on that and say, is this game visually compelling? Did they pull something off here that's pretty remarkable for a console? Okay. How about the story? Is the story riveting? Are we getting caught up into it? Are we excited for it? Right? That's what you need to be focusing on. We already know the style of game it is. You don't go into a telltale narrative game and say, where's the gameplay? Right? Same thing there. You don't go into Dark Souls and say, where are the vehicles? Why can't I drive? Right? But it seems like today, everyone has this weird preconceived notion of what needs to be in a game, and you must check off each checkbox on this weird good game checklist to say if a game is good or not. Well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. This game's only 8 hours long. Immediately it's bad because there's not enough gameplay. Wait, the gameplay takes a backseat to narrative and visuals? Oh, that's awful. That's the big demerit there. Like, what are you talking about? There's different games for different people. Games are better when they do different things. If every game was the same and was aspiring to do the same things, there would be no variety and it would be bland and boring. I don't want everything to be bland and boring. By the way, I'm not saying that if this game ends up being bland and boring, that I'm going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to tell you what I think truly about the game every moment that we are playing it. Okay? If I feel like this game should have been 60 frames and it's detrimental because it's running at only 30, I'm going to tell you that. Okay? I will criticize the game fairly, as I always do. But I hate that people go in here and they just completely judge a game unfairly based on these fucking notions of nonsense, okay? If this game is truly 8 hours long, but it's got amazing visuals, a good riveting story, and I'm enjoying myself when I'm playing every moment of those 8 hours, then why is it a bad game exactly, right? But then people will say that anyway. Oh, well, no, modern era, you can't have a game that's 8 hours long. Modern era, you better have challenge in the gameplay. This is ridiculous, right? Like they say, different strokes for different folks. And the thing is, at some point, you have to learn to respect the opinions of others. Listen, I personally think Fortnite is not a very good game. I think there's better Battle Royale games out there. I don't understand how it went viral besides kids play it and got caught on in that way. And quite frankly, there was a lot of streamers who caught on and did that, like dyed their fucking hair and acted like cartoon characters to attract kids to watch and play the game. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, so I'm going to crap on this game constantly. And I'm going to go to streamers who are playing it and crap on the game in their streams. And I'm going to do that. No. If you don't like this style of game, that's fine. Don't stick around today. Because as of tomorrow, I'm playing Street Fighter 6 all day. Later this week, I'm playing indie games in a marathon. After that, we're going to get back to Fallout 4. And we're going to have about Multiverses is coming up next week. Right? In the next month, I'll probably play a good variety of games leading up to the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC in Elden Ring. So no matter what kind of a game you like, I'm going to be covering that good variety of stuff, okay? So, that's good, right? But please don't be here being incredibly negative towards this all day long because it's not your cup of tea. Because I'll tell you right now, I already saw people in chat. It seems like they were going like this. I can't wait. Today's my time. I can sit here and crap on Hellblade 2 all day. No. No. You're not going to do that. Because if I see it, I'm going to warn you. And if you continue to do it, I'm going to time you out. And if you continue to do it, I'm going to ban you. Because there's no point in fucking sitting here just to spread negativity. No one cares about that you don't like this game. Then go do something else and come back when I'm doing something that you do like. You don't go to the Taylor Swift concert, sit front row, and yell at her, "You suck! I hate your music! You suck!" You just don't go to the concert, right? So there's no reason for you to be sitting here and complaining all day about a game you don't like, all right? I get it. Not anyone will like this game. It's not one of those please everyone style games. You know what I'm saying? It's not. So I hope you guys understand that. I've actively chosen to play it because it's shorter. It's a Game Pass game. It fits into the schedule for variety purposes. That's why I'm playing it. I'm curious, is it as good as the first one? Is it not? Is it better? What have they done with these visuals in the 7 years that they've been developing the game, right? Is it amazing now? Does it blow you away? You know, how about the story? Because I'll be honest, like I said, when I beat the first one, I was confused. I was scratching my head. What actually happened in that game? Will we actually get more answers during this one? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe we'll beat it and it'll be just like the first. At the end, you'll be just as confused as when the game started, and you won't know what's happening, right? And that's okay as long as we had a good time. And that was my feeling in the first game. Like, I enjoyed my time in it, even though I was still confused at the end. So it's fine. So let's actively try to enjoy each other's company. Let's try to enjoy the game. And if you don't end up liking it, that's fine. But please don't just sit here and start being, oh, but I don't understand. It's not as good as this game. It doesn't have this from this game. It's not supposed to. It's not those games. That's the whole point. You don't like it, that's fine. I'm going to give you my honest opinions as I'm playing it, like I always do. Maybe I won't like it as much as I don't know. I'm a different person. 7 years, a long time. It changes you, right? So maybe I will be more critical of this one. I don't know. But I can tell you to see people already in my chat this morning. Oh, yeah, finally, I've been seeing all these negative, awful things on the internet about the game. That's not even correct. If you look at reviews, generally reviews are positive for the game. People are saying it's a good narrative experience, great graphics, great audio. Yes, it's gameplay light, but so was the first game. So where is it all the... Oh, everyone's crapping on it. Who? It doesn't even exist, but that's what I mean. They saw 2 people complain about it. Oh, everyone's crapping on it. Now it's time for me to dump too. No, go take the dump in someone else's stream. All right? This is not the toilet of the internet here. Go do that somewhere else. Excuse me. Okay, so hopefully, I've cleared the air now, and people are now going to be like, okay, we're going to be fair to it. If not, I've already laid down the law. I forewarned you. This is not going to be a situation where I'm going to put up with this nonsense all day, okay? Okay, cool. That cool? You understand? All right, so here's the schedule for the week. Today, Hellblade 2 on the first stream, Hellblade 2 on the late stream. All Hellblade 2 today. Tomorrow, Street Fighter 6 on the first stream, Street Fighter 6 on the late stream. It's the rebalance patch. I'll be checking out Akuma on that first stream exclusively and see how good it is. And if Akuma's good, I'll keep playing with him. Or maybe on that late stream, I won't want to play with Akuma. Instead, I'm going to want to... Jasper, would you please stop chewing that wire? Maybe on the late stream. Jasper, stop chewing that wire. Stop it. It's chewing my wires again. You're not listening. Don't chew that wire. You hear me? Stop it. Okay? Stop it. So Street Fighter 6 all day tomorrow, but it's not sure if I'm going to be playing Akuma all day. Jasper, I just said no, don't do it. I just said don't do that. I'm trying to finish my sentence here. Street Fighter 6 tomorrow, I'll be playing Akuma on the first stream. I don't know if it'll be Akuma all day or if I'll mix it up and try the other characters at night to see the differences. We'll see. Okay? I'm off on Thursday. When I come back on Friday, it will be more Hellblade 2 on the first stream. And dependent on how long the game actually is, I might or might not actually beat it on Friday. We'll see. And then gonna do it again. Friday night is going to be Friday Night Fights, and it's going to be a Street Fighter 6 stream, and it's going to be a special stream. And that's all I'm going to say. It's actually something a little different. It's not my typical fighting game stream. I'm doing something different for this rebalance patch in Street Fighter 6. Okay? And then Saturday is my PC Indies Marathon event. On Saturday, all day long, I'll be playing indie games that you guys are currently not voting for right now in a thread. If you type !indies in the chat, it'll come up. You're determining the order of games and which games specifically we'll be playing on Saturday. So please keep voting if you haven't yet. Good variety of games in there. For example, if you haven't seen the poll yet, oh, hold on. I thought I had it open here. I don't. I want to open it because I want to see, here it is. I want to see the game titles again. So here are the games that are currently in the running. Lethal Company, Hades 2, Inscription, Pizza Tower, and Stardew Valley. Okay? So, FYI, we're guaranteed to play a game, Noita. That one got the most nominations of any game, so we're absolutely playing that one. The other games will be determined essentially by this poll. So, taking a look, you know, right now, 2 games are massive front runners. Another couple games are pretty close in the votes. However, I've been told that one of these games, unless I'm going to play with a party, which I'm not, and unless I'm going to play with voice communication, which again, I'm not, I don't have that capability, I shouldn't play it. I don't know if you guys are aware, but this game, Lethal Company, from what I'm to understand, it's multiplayer only. Okay, you can't play it solo. And if you drop into a random party with like no mic or whatever, it's basically not very good. People are basically like, yeah, it's going to be a dud because you're not going to be able to talk or communicate or even figure stuff out, you know? So I don't know why people nominated Lethal Company. I don't get it. If that's it, you know me, you know the kind of games I play, you know exactly what's going on here. So why would you have nominated this game, right? If that's the case. Now, am I misunderstanding it? I don't know. This is what I'm being told. You know, people kind of said the same thing about Helldivers 2, but that game was able to be dropped in and played fine. Then again, there's a game such as, what was the one? Phasmophobia, which we played, and that one was a dud. Complete dud, didn't work at all, right? I tried to drop in with a group and couldn't even play the game. It wasn't even playable. So, I don't know. Should I play that, or should we just kind of eliminate that one, right? I don't know. I guess we'll figure this out. I got to set up for this event soon. So we'll talk about that. Let's talk about that. Should Lethal Company be taken out of the running? And then basically we play Noita and maybe 2 or 3 of the other games? Because Lethal Company's middle of the pack voting right now, so it may or may not happen regardless. But I don't want to buy it and install it, and then we fucking go to play it, and it doesn't work and it's not good because it's multiplayer only, right? Like, I mean, pretty clear, again, the kind of gamer that I am, the kind of gameplay I do. Lipshian says, yes, for Lethal Company, you actively need to use voice communication. I don't even have that. I don't have a mic that will work on PC. You know, this mic has to be used with my PC over here to capture and to stream. I don't have other mics and things going on that I could plug into my mini PC. I don't. So, I guess maybe that's out then. If that is the case, let's continue. I want to hear everyone's opinion. Leave comments on this video. But if Lethal Company is a game that you absolutely need to interact and have voice communication, I can't do that. Everyone knows that, by the way. So I don't know why people would have nominated it. Okay? I outright said in the criteria for this Indie Games Marathon, as you were nominating games, I says, it has to be a game that I have the capability of playing. I don't have the capability to do an interactive multiplayer game with voice communication. I don't even have that set up. Right? So, yeah. Okay. Anyway, Saturday all day we're doing that, right? And then Sunday is React Day. So you see what I mean about Fallout 4? If today is Hellblade 2, tomorrow is Street Fighter, Friday is Hellblade and Street Fighter, Saturday is Indies, and Sunday is React Day, the absolute earliest I could even fathom playing Fallout 4 would be Monday. But even then, I might want to keep playing Street Fighter and finish Hellblade if I haven't yet. And then, by the way, Tuesday, 1 week from today, is the release of Multiverses. I say release because the game's already been out, but then they took it away because it was in beta. So now Multiverses fully comes out, and I want to play that, right? So, you know, it's all this stuff going on, and I don't know when I'm going to get back to Fallout. I want to play Fallout 4 again, but that's just the situation we're in right now. With all this new stuff going on, it's time-consuming, right? So Fallout will return. Don't worry. I can't wait. I love this Fallout playthrough. I've really been enjoying it. But we are caught up with all this variety of stuff, and right now it's taking priority. Okay? Once I beat Hellblade, we'll have a little bit more time in the schedule. And on top of that, from the Indies Marathon, I almost predict there'll be like 1 or 2 games that we like and that you guys want to see me continue to play, and I would do that. I would do playthroughs of indie games if you guys like them. We will balance that for other stuff. Okay? Keep in mind also, there's the option of System Shock Remake, right, that we could possibly play. So, lots of stuff going on. All right? So that's the schedule. Okay, so it's time for everyone's favorite segment. Hold on. It's time for everyone's favorite segment. It's time for my favorite segment. It's time for your favorite segment. It's time for DSP News. And we have a couple interesting stories to cover today on our news segment of the show. And no, they're not just me petting Jasper Kitty live on stream, even though it's so cute. So cute when I pet him like this. Right? He's loving it. He's absolutely loving this attention. But I have to actually get the news stories open. Right? Okay. So here's a couple of the news stories. Nintendo has acquired Shiver Entertainment. Shiver Entertainment was previously owned by Embracer Group. And we know what's been happening with Embracer Group as of late. They bought up all these studios, and then they started, like, closing them. Like, they were failing and closing them. It's ridiculous. So this group, Shiver Entertainment, has been bought directly by Nintendo. So what has Shiver been doing? They've actually recently been porting games to the Switch game console, including they did the ports of Mortal Kombat 1 and Hogwarts Legacy. Okay? So, basically, Nintendo wants more games for the Switch that are third-party cross-platform, and this game they feel has been, or this group they feel has been doing a good job porting, so they bought them out. So, if anything, This sounds to me like Nintendo for their next-gen console, because let's be honest, the Switch is on its way out. It sounds like for their next-gen console, Nintendo's interested in getting more third-party games, right, Jasper Kitty? What do you think about that? Purring. Hear the purrs? Go ahead, purr into the mic. Okay. So, I guess that's good news. I just hope that they do a good job, because some ports for Nintendo consoles, as we all know, are very underwhelming, and they run horribly. I hope that the ports are good. And the question is, with this new Nintendo console coming out, will it be powerful enough to accurately portray games that are cross-platform, or are you going to have these underwhelming, globulous, unrendered, low frame rate messes, right? I mean, then again, you could just argue that the first-party games look like that anyway. Look at the last Pokemon game. So maybe there's no validity to that argument anyway, right? So anyway, that's one acquisition. Another acquisition has happened. So listen to this one. IGN Entertainment acquires Gamer Network. Gamer Network is an amalgamation of different games journalism businesses, including GamesIndustry.biz, Eurogamer, Rock Paper Shotgun, VG247, and Dicebreaker. And yes, included under that umbrella is Digital Foundry. So people immediately are freaking out. They're like, wait a minute, what? IGN now owns all of those different gaming outlets, including Digital Foundry? Now, normally you'd be like, is this even a big deal? But recently what's been happening is companies are getting bought up and then immediately getting closed and or majorly restructured. So people immediately started freaking out on the internet, reaching out to employees from Digital Foundry saying, hey guys, you know, you're kind of one of the beloved groups on the internet for, you know, game performance testing, hardware, stats, etc. You know, are you all right? Now, one of them responded and say, oh yeah, don't worry, we're not really going to be affected by this. But then someone else is like, yeah, and that's what they said about Giant Bomb. And that's what they said about this studio, and look what happened. I mean, even a studio like Tango Gameworks that put out a good game got closed. So is anyone really immune to this kind of issue? The answer is very simple. No. It doesn't matter. These companies, when they buy out other companies, they may well just decide that they want a restructuring. And then that's the end of you. You know? I'll compare it to this. Years ago, Screw Attack, which was its own entity and was doing decently by itself, got bought out by Rooster Teeth. Rooster Teeth decided, we don't want 90% of the Screw Attack stuff we just bought. All we want is like 2 series. So they ended up closing like 80 to 90% of Screw Attack. Just laid off all the employees. We don't want you. They only kept the people behind to do that Death Battle show. And I think there was like one other. Like there was 2 pieces of content they actually wanted and thought there was value in. And everything else, they just said, fuck it, and liquidated it all. And that was the end of Screw Attack. They're just gone forever. Because the rights were sold. And they just felt there's no value. I mean, now today, even Rooster Teeth doesn't exist anymore, right? But that's all it takes is bad management. And are you really confident in the management of IGN? One weird thing you might say is, wait a minute, IGN Network, how are they're doing good? They're able to buy other companies? Yeah, you may not realize it because, you know, everyone makes fun of IGN. Everyone's, oh, you can't spell IGN, or you can't spell ignorant without the letters IGN, right? And, oh, their reviews suck or whatever. You guys don't understand. They are the biggest gaming news source in the world. You know that, right? They make insano amounts of ad revenue and product revenue. They make so much revenue because they are the basic focal point of where people go for gaming news on the internet. Nobody else is as big as them. So they are absolutely profitable like crazy, even though we all like to make fun of them and how stupid they are and how bad sometimes their writing is and their articles and everything. No, they're rich. They have insane amounts of money just because everyone goes there for game news and they run 5 zillion ads. Like, I can tell you firsthand, you go to that site, it's like trying to navigate the fucking thing is a nightmare. There's fucking so much ad placement and shit, and they're making tons of dough on it, you know? So basically, that's how they're affording this. They're rich. You just don't know it because everyone on social media makes fun of them, but they are 100% the most prominent games media on the planet. Okay? So, basically, what will happen? Well, first of all those things I mentioned, GamesIndustry.biz, Eurogamer, Rock, Paper, Shotgun, VG247, Dicebreaker, they're all kind of like independent of each other, right? And they're all different. They cover gaming news and things differently. Digital Foundry, I believe, is actually part of Eurogamer. So that's why people are afraid. They're like, oh, is Digital Foundry affected? Well, yeah, technically, they're part of the Eurogamer umbrella of companies and media. So, yeah, like, what's going to happen to those? First of all, why did IGN even buy them? Why would IGN need those? All they are, in a way, are competition. Are they just buying out their competition? And here's the thing. If that's the case, should you be worried? If you just got bought out, like, let's say you work for, okay, let me think of a good comparison here, right? Let's say you work for a mid-range burger chain. Like if I lived in Connecticut still, it would have been Dutch's. Like, Dutch's does burgers. They do other sandwiches, too. Let's say you work for Dutch's. You're a franchise owner. But the parent company gets bought out by McDonald's. So now you're McDonald's, but you were the competition. Are you afraid? Everything might change. Now your entire corporate culture changes of how you work because now you got an edict down from big, bad corporate McDonald's of how to do things. Very different from the way your company used to do stuff before, right? Or even worse, they might actually just say, oh, you're our competition. We bought you. Goodbye. We're laying everyone off because we just don't want competition. So we bought you to do a corporate takeover to just disseminate you and liquidate you and you're gone. Yeah, oh, so now there's no more competing sites, you know? Now, I don't think that's the case. Who's going to spend a ton of money just to liquidate? I don't think so. I think they have an intention of using them for something. What exactly that intention is, I don't know. So, yeah, what's happening right now, it seems like a lot of companies are being bought out. And, you know, what's going to happen with these buyouts? Will they result in something positive or negative for gamers or not? I don't know. We have one more story to cover today before we get to shout-outs and interaction. And the story is kind of alarming, all right? So just the other day on my React show, we were watching a video about ChatGPT and about OpenAI. The name of the company is OpenAI, and they've been designing ChatGPT, their chatbot, to get better and better over the years, right? And they have this new model now that can do all this new stuff. If you want to learn about that, I actually did a React segment to it on my React show, DSP versus the Internet, back on Saturday or Sunday. So you can check that out on the DSP Reacts channel. That's youtube.com/@DSPReacts. It was a fascinating segment, okay? It really was. So why am I bringing this up today? Okay? Because we're actually finding out that this company that's prominent in the world of AI, and this company that basically is getting a lot of power now because they're getting so prominent in the world of AI and everyone wants to use their AI for stuff, guess what? They are pretty much doing things incredibly underhandedly. At least if we're to believe actress Scarlett Johansson. What? I know, this is an interesting story. Listen to this one. Scarlett Johansson herself released a press release overnight. Well, I guess it was during the day yesterday. And here it is. I'm going to read it word for word. All right? You might be like, what the hell are you talking about? Scarlett Johansson and OpenAI. What could this story possibly be? I know. I was the same mindset when I started reading it. I was like, what are you talking about? Listen to this. Here we go. Word for word. Last September, I received an offer from Sam Altman, who wanted to hire me to voice the current ChatGPT 4.0 system. This is Scarlett Johansson speaking in a press release, okay? He told me that he felt that by my voicing of the system, I could bridge the gap between tech companies and creatives and help consumers to feel comfortable with the seismic shift concerning humans and AI. He said he felt my voice would be comforting to people. So the guy who's in charge of OpenAI contacted Scarlett Johansson and said, we want to pay you to be the voice of ChatGPT because right now people are afraid about the future of AI. They're thinking it's evil robot overlords going to take over the world. But if we have your relaxing voice, okay, we think it'll work and it'll help people assuage people's fears, okay? Let's continue. After much consideration and for personal reasons, I declined the offer. 9 months later, my friends, family, and the general public all noted how much the newest system named Sky sounds just like me. When I heard the release demo, I was shocked, angered, and in disbelief that Mr. Altman would pursue a voice that sounded so eerily similar to mine that my closest friends and news outlets can't tell the difference. Mr. Altman even insinuated that the similarity was intentional, tweeting a single word, her. This is a reference to a film in which I voiced a chat system, Samantha, who forms an intimate relationship with a human. Let's continue. 2 days before the ChatGPT 4.0 demo was released, Mr. Altman contacted my agent asking me to reconsider. Before we could even connect, the system was already out there. As a result of their actions, I was forced to hire legal counsel who wrote 2 letters to Mr. Altman and to OpenAI, setting out what they had done and asking them to detail the exact process by which they created the Sky voice. Consequently, OpenAI reluctantly agreed to take down the Sky voice. In a time when we are all grappling with deepfakes and the promotion of our own likeness, our own work, our own identities, I believe these are questions that deserve absolute clarity. I look forward to resolution in the form of transparency and the passage of appropriate legislation to help ensure individual rights are protected. Right? So, in a nutshell, because that was a long statement, OpenAI wanted Scarlett Johansson to voice their new AI bot so people wouldn't be afraid of AI being an evil robot overlord. She decided not to do it. So then they used her voice anyway. And it was so similar to her real voice, all her friends, relatives, and people contacted her and said, "Are you aware that you're the voice of OpenAI?" She says, "No, I'm not. I turned it down." Lo and behold, it was her voice. So she sent them legal letters to say, "What are you doing? Because I can sue you for this." And then they took the voice down. So, I just want you to think about this unique story and why this is scary, okay? This was a situation where someone who is a worldwide celebrity, a popular actress, a hot commodity, that if something of her likeness is going to be used, you have to get compensation for it, correct? Like, they have to pay her for it. This is her likeness. You don't have legal rights to use her likeness without permission. They asked her for permission. She said no. They went ahead and did it anyway, hoping that nothing would happen. She immediately told them, "No, I don't play that game," and then they took the voice down. Okay? But that's Scarlett Johansson. All right? That's not a normal person. That's not even a mid-level notable person, right? That's Scarlett Johansson. Okay? What's to stop AI from literally stealing anything from anywhere and having any repercussions for it because we're not big enough to have a lawyer go slap OpenAI with a lawsuit? Correct? Think about this. They've already shown they have absolutely no cares in the world about stealing content. They outright did it with Scarlett Johansson. It's documented. It's happened. This is not, oh, it's hearsay, it's gossip. No, it's true. She didn't give permission for her voice to be used, and they used it anyway in their demo of this new ChatGPT. They just didn't care. All right? So they think they're above the law. They outright feel this. We are above having to pay or care or do anything. We'll just do whatever we want. Only if we get slapped with a lawsuit after will we then correct our awful actions. Okay? What's to stop AI from taking anything it wants and doing whatever it wants with it? Honestly, right? Let's be honest here. It could do whatever it wants. And all it's going to take is someone to have a bug up their ass about you, right? And then they're going to do awful things with this. So, for example, this already happened. There was, I guess what it was there was a school, and there was, I guess, like a teacher, and there was another employee of the school who didn't like the teacher. So they created like an AI video. Okay. An AI video of this person saying racist things. And they submitted, oh, look, you got to fire this person because they're a racist. Now, luckily, what happened was there was an analysis, and they actually found out the video was fake. It was, they found out it was an AI video. It wasn't real. So after that, they looked into it, and they found out, oh, guess what? This other employee was trying to get this guy in trouble, and they fired the other employee instead. All right? But that's just the initial thing. Like, this is the early stages of AI. You understand? Why do they feel they have free reign to use any content they want to do anything they want? They don't. OpenAI does not own intellectual properties. They don't have the right to use intellectual properties without permission. Hence, that's why they contacted Scarlett Johansson first to ask for permission to use her voice before they just decided to do it anyway without the permission. They knew they needed the permission to do that. You see? Right now, here's the problem. We have no oversight over this. We have no governmental bodies who are looking at this AI and seeing what it's doing and seeing its uses or misuses and saying, here's the limits. And I know that a lot of people say, well, we don't want a restrictive government. We want a government that's for the people. I hear you. But do you not understand that AI at its actual core could actually be massively misused as a weapon against people? And right now, we have no one doing anything about it. Instead, what we have is a bunch of fucking nerds who are sitting there saying, advance, advance, advance it further, advance it further. Instead of, should we advance it further? I mean, I hate to say it, but Michael Crichton was a genius, all right? When he created the Ian Malcolm character for Jurassic Park. And Ian Malcolm is this chaos theorist, correct? And he says in the movie and in the book, it's probably not word for word, but he basically says, so here's what you scientists did, right? You found a way to revive dinosaurs. And before you said, should we do it? How should we do it? What ramifications it'll have? You already created it. You patented it. You mass-produced it. You marketed it. You packaged it. You slapped stickers on it. And you sold it out there to be a big moneymaker. Before you get to the point where these things become this dangerous, you need to have those questions asked first. Should we be doing this? Why are we doing this? What are the repercussions, both positive and negative, for human society as a whole? Not, oh, we have the technology, just keep doing it. But that's what's happening right now. With AI in general, it just seems to be just non-regulated overdevelopment. Who are these fucking assholes at OpenAI who think that because they have this capability that they should have the ability to just do whatever they want, regardless of the fact that it could actually hurt human society as a whole? If everything goes AI in the next 15, 20 years, how many jobs will be lost? How is this going to affect society? Do we really want to be sitting at home doing nothing at all while everything around us is done for us? I mean, do we not see already that we have like an obesity epidemic and we have people just sitting antisocial at home, sitting on their fucking computers all day, leading to crazy amounts of people who have broken lives, emotional, mental problems, which this already exists now, and that's before AI, right? Now, we actually have AI that's going to automate everything around us and do everything for you. So what is the purpose of human existence? If everything can just be done by itself, right? I get that AI can have great implications. One of the things we saw in that video about OpenAI the other day, here's a blind person and they can't see and they're walking around a major city with their guide dog, but they need to know what they're seeing. So he holds up his phone like this to the river and it says, in the river, there are several ducks and they are swimming slowly without a care. And one of the ducks has just gone under the water, probably grabbing food and yada yada. That's nice. Someone who can't see to have visual assistance, that's nice. They actually showed that he was calling a taxi. There's a taxi approaching from the left. You can flag it now. Oh, and he flags it and he gets a taxi because of it. There's good uses for this stuff. For sure there is. Okay? But the problem is there's no one sitting down and regulating, this is the good use that it should be used for because it improves the human existence. Or this is an insanely horrendous, awful use because if it gets mass grown in this field, right, so much will be auto done for us. So much will become automated. So much will be done that now it hurts humans, right? And again, what are the implications of this company thinking they can do whatever they want? Scarlett Johansson was able to sue the company. Well, not really sue, but send them legal letters saying, cease and desist. You're using my voice. It's apparent. Everyone thinks it's me. You have to stop this right now. Right now, if they were to take your voice and use it in something, do you have the ability to hire a lawyer to send them a legal notice to stop? Does the common person at all? We're already seeing with AI, you say, hey, generate a picture, generate a song, generate this, and all it's doing, is it creating? It's not creating. It's stealing. It's going out there and taking stuff from everyone else, all the artistic expression, all the hard work that should be the property of others, and it's taking snippets of each of it and smashing it together to create a new entity of its own and claiming ownership of it. When in reality, it doesn't own it, right? It doesn't. It stole from others. So, does AI really work in that regard? Like I said, I think that there are some uses that make a lot of sense. But when you're saying it's a tool, but the tool is unchecked, unregulated, right? Imagine if right now there was absolutely no regulations for armaments at all. Unchecked. Anyone could own any kind of an armament that they wanted across the globe. People could be walking down the streets with fucking machine guns and bazookas and tanks, right? Just imagine that. No regulation. Anyone could just do whatever they want, right? Because you could argue AI is not alive. Well, it's artificial intelligence. One day, maybe it'll be self-aware. I don't know if it is yet. We can argue that, right? Is it passing the Turing test and shit like that? But right now, it's a tool. AI is a tool to do things. But all tools must be regulated. You can't just have a tool be unchecked, because then you will undoubtedly have people who find a use for the tool that's extreme and can mass hurt people. Right now, we have no one who is looking and regulating AI at all. You see what I'm saying? And as much as some people would say, well, actually, it's not that bad. No, no, no. It may not be that bad now. But do you see what they're doing at that company and other companies? This technology is advancing at an insanely breathtaking fast pace. This is not, oh, a little trickle of progress here, a little trickle of progress there. It is full-fledged like a fucking Olympic sprinter. It is running forward, and no one is checking ahead to see what it's going to run into. So right now, you might say it's not a big deal. But what happens in 2-3 years if AI now starts to get crazy, out of control reach and an ability, right? What if, just think about how creepy this is. You're a single mom. You're working at, I don't know, a bank. You're a bank teller, all right? You don't know it, but one of your customers is an obsessive weirdo. This obsessive weirdo buys a subscription to AI, and after they find out your name, decides to generate a profile on you based on all of the information on the internet. The AI, within 30 minutes, generates an entire profile of who you are, where you live, phone numbers, previous phone numbers, your ex-husband's name, your kids who are estranged, who you don't live with, and they're with someone else, and has all this information on you, and can now use this to stalk you. AI just did it because it was out there, public information. Now, this might have been something that would have taken years for someone to do, but AI does it in seconds because you can pay for it. And it's just, oh, I'll compile all that information for you right now, sir. Right? Just think about that. And the AI can then use all that data to find voice clips of your friends and family members to call you from phone numbers, spoofing other people's numbers to pretend like it's a friend and family member, to say, come meet me somewhere, it's an emergency, and that mother shows up somewhere, unbeknownst to her, and this crazy-ass fucking stalker is there, ready to kidnap and do horrible things to her, because it's all a setup, the AI setup. Now, I know that's crazy. We're not at that point yet, you know what I'm saying? But at the rate we're going with this expansion, if you can steal anyone's name, if you can steal anyone's likeness, their voice, their information about them, impersonate them, steal their work, steal anything, compile it into a profile, compile it into a fake person, right? I mean, you talk about catfishing. Catfishing used to take work. Now catfishing could be instant, right? This is wild to me. Like, I read the story about Scarlett Johansson. I'm like, so even without her permission, they were just easily able to just completely imitate her. And she had to have a legal presence to stop this. And by the way, it wasn't even like they admitted they did anything wrong. They just pulled it because they knew they did. They knew they didn't want to get sued, so they pulled the voice. And they're not going to use it again. But what's to stop the AI from doing this kind of fucked up stuff? We need regulation. I'm not saying AI needs to be stopped. I'm not saying it's the devil, it's Skynet, it's taking over the world, or anything like that. But right now, we're seeing this stuff advance so fast. And this is just the beginning. All right, the beginning stages. This is going to get advanced worse and worse and worse until someone decides, wait a minute, this is technology advancing at a pace we need to regulate. We have to make sure that we don't have people maliciously using and doing these things because it's going to hurt people legit, right? Anyway, that's my take. You can completely disagree, and it's okay if you disagree. But for me, I look at this situation, and I'm like, that is terrifying. That they just think they could do whatever they want, right? They can literally think they could do whatever the hell they want, and there's no repercussions. So just because, you know, she was able to send you the cease and desist, right? It doesn't mean everyone else can. At what point will we not be able to believe anything at all? Because all of it could just be faked, right? I don't know. I mean, it's pretty fucked up to think about. Is it not? Are you afraid? Most people probably aren't. Unless you're a public-facing person, correct? Who cares? But then you don't even understand. All it takes is one crazy nut job who has a stick up their ass about you, who doesn't like you, who then will try to get you in trouble. Like people were actually saying in the chat, that story that I told you about. So it was an athletic director at a school who used AI to make the fake video of the principal of the school who they didn't like. For whatever reason, they felt maligned or mistreated by this principal. So they fabricated this video to try to get the principal fired, looking like a racist, when in reality it was all fake. Right? So there you go. I mean, this is the early stages. Okay. So anyway, interesting story. And with this whole AI thing developing, if and when I see updates on this topic, I'm absolutely going to be checking them out. And we'll be talking about them here on the show in news segments and the like. Okay. And I'm sure probably there'll be more React content and stuff on it as well. Because this is life-changing, man. That is not what I wanted to click. This is life-changing right now at such a rapid pace. And, you know, how's it going to affect us long-term? I guess we're going to find out. Okay. So, folks, that's what I got for you. We're now going to get to shout-outs and interaction before we start with Hellblade 2 today. Now, all I'm going to say is the usual. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, I make my living here on the internet. I appreciate those who enjoy my content and support it, because you guys are the reason why I'm able to still do this after 16 years and counting. I love my job. It's amazing. Today, we're playing a brand new release in Hellblade 2. Whenever I play a new release, having a great day is always a key factor in the continued success of this channel. So, things such as liking today's stream, engaging with me in the stream, talking with me. If you're watching these videos on demand, engaging with the content, liking the videos if you like them, leaving comments. Let me know what you think about the big story about AI today. I'd love to hear your thoughts about that, or about these acquisitions that are currently happening, okay? But also, if you're watching this, supporting through other factors is key. Super chats, super stickers, memberships, gifted memberships for the community, and tips. They're all greatly appreciated, all right? Thank you in advance to anyone who supports my content. Particularly, as you know, I try to hit at least the tier 1 tips goal every stream that I do of $50. If I do that, I consider it a successful stream. It'd be great if we could hit that today, especially because it's a big game premiere. All right? See how it goes. But outside of that, thank you in advance just for hanging out with me and enjoying my content. If you're someone who watches my content on demand exclusively, you don't attend the streams, you can still help out. If you become a member, that helps. If you get YouTube Premium and you watch everything with YouTube Premium, I get actual revenue from that, okay? Or perhaps a super thanks on a video on demand. That helps after the fact. Or look at the description of any video. You'll find a tips link or you could send a tip directly. That helps too. All right. So thank you guys all in advance. I appreciate that. I'm hoping for a good day here today with the new release. Obviously, that helps a ton to have a new release be a successful day, right? Okay. So now, starting off with that, on the YouTube side of things, we've got nothing, right? We got no contributions whatsoever. No memberships, no super chats, nothing. So let's get the tips, okay? So first of all, overnight there was a $1 tip from someone called Phil's Biggest Fan. And says, let's see here. I'm a longtime viewer of yours. I aspire to be like you in my day-to-day life because you're a hard worker and consistency shows in the effort to put that you put into your streams. So thank you to Phil's Biggest Fan for a $1 tip. I appreciate that. That is quite the claim, though. I don't know if you actually officially are my biggest fan. Okay? I don't know. But I appreciate the $1 tip and the nice, kind words. Thank you for that. Let's see here. It loads. Hot single mom hit the $1 and said, well, now you got me worried, Phil. Well, you should be. You should be terrified. You don't even have to be hot. You should be terrified. AI is coming for you. You don't know what's going on. You can open your front door right now, and OpenAI could be at your front door. What's that noise? Did you just hear that noise in the house? It could be OpenAI. You better go check it out. Jade, I see ya. I hope you feel all right. He says you feel okay today. You're just gonna chat. That's fine. Okay. I received a $5 tip from OpenAI. No, I'm just kidding. I received a $5 tip. Someone says, do you think you can check out Animal Well? It's on Switch and PS5. If you want me to check out Animal Well, I already did. It's just that you probably don't watch my React show, which is a shame. You should. All right. If you want to know my take on Animal Well, check out my React show from Sunday. Someone submitted the big 8-minute video, all right, that Video Game Donkey put out about it. Because, by the way, the game is produced by Video Game Donkey, and he's heavily promoting it because he wants people to get it. But I give my opinions on it. Do you want my opinions in a nutshell? Okay? The game looks fine. It's an indie-style Metroidvania game with pixel graphics, okay? It's got a bunch of animals in it. That's literally the best description of Animal Well. It's a indie-style, pixel graphic Metroidvania game with animals in it. Okay? As I watched and continued to watch the 8-minute clip of it, I was like, it'll appeal to a certain audience, but it's certainly nothing new. There's a ton of games like this that come out a year. Are there puzzles in it? Yes. I've also seen indie games like that have puzzles in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm looking at it. You want to know the notable thing about it? It was made by one person. And he's in the video, and the guy's kind of funny, too. He's lines being fed by Donkey, and he's being funny about it. I was like, so here's a guy with a lot of talent. I applaud that person for making the game by themselves. That's got to be an insano undertaking, right? Like, so much work, dedication. He even did some voice work for it. Even though the game only has, like, 3 voice lines, he did some voice work for it and all that, right? So good. Good for him. But I was like, this is not something that I'm going to even be... Like, for me, do I like Metroidvania games? Yes, I do. I've played a lot of them, you know. Particularly, the last one I played was Metroid Dread. That game was outstanding. I loved it, right? But I'm looking at this game, and I'm like, it's not visually appealing to me. And I like pixel graphic games, but I was like, at this point, you've seen a million of these already. And I was kind of like, it just didn't appeal. And again, I don't want to crap on the game. It's not that the game looked bad. It doesn't look like it ran bad. The ideas weren't... It wasn't that the ideas weren't sound. They are. But for me, I'm just watching. I'm like, it's stuff I've seen already. It doesn't seem like anything I would really be appealed to play. You know? And I made an interesting point, okay? As I just said, a bunch of games like this come out every year. Why are people talking about Animal Well? because it's produced and promoted by Video Game Donkey. If it wasn't, you never would have heard of Animal Well. It would have just been another one of another dozen or so games that come out a year that are very samey, that get swept under the rug because they're all the same. But in this case, this one's the one from Video Game Donkey. So people are playing it and saying, oh, it's so good. Well, you probably would have never, you know, played it or anything. You know what I'm saying? If Donkey didn't produce it, you know? So, to me, I watch it, I'm like, nah, not really appealing. I know this guy in this genre. If I wanted to play a game in this genre, I would probably play a more better known, higher regarded game that people have asked me to play. There's so many of these games over the years that people say, would you play this one? Would you play this one? And I'm like, nah, you know, they're indie games. I don't really have access to them. By the time they come out on console, it's all late. It's like no point in playing it then, right? So in this case, I'm like, you know, it doesn't really appeal. I don't want to crap on the guy. This guy must have busted his ass to be a one-man game dev team. You know what I mean? And he probably worked on this game for many years. But for me, it's just like, I'm watching, I'm like, I don't get it. Like, everyone's like, oh, it's so good. It's so, you know, highly rated by critics. I'm watching, I'm like, what is highly rated? It's the same game you've seen a million times already. I just don't understand what's unique about it. It's a Metroidvania with animals. Oh, animals. Got it. You know, anyway, so that's my take. Again, I don't want to crap on the game or the guy. It's not something for me, I don't think. Okay? Abu has re-upped their membership for 3 months. It says, AI has gotten me nervous. I don't know what's real anymore. It's true. Like right now, you might actually be on my stream, you know, and we're talking right now. We're having a good time. You see that chat in front of you? That might not be a real chat. That might be an AI-generated simulated chat. It might not be the real people. Did you think about that? The AI-generated profiles of behavior and then is regurgitating that simulated behavior into the chat. So you think you're talking with a bunch of humans, but it's all AI right now. Did you ever think about that? I gotta fess up with you guys. All right? I have been a synth for the last 7 years. You notice when I changed my content, I became a full-time streamer and everything changed? I'm a synth. Yeah, I replaced the real Phil 7 years ago. In fact, let me remove my face and show you my robot likeness here. Anyway. But, I mean, what's to stop that from happening if AI goes rampant, right? Anyway, let's continue. Let's continue. I got a $6.09 tip. Let's see here. This person says, Phil, I want to send a small tip. Work has been rough today, but I passed the inspection. Well, there you go. I don't know what kind of an inspection you're speaking of, but I'm glad to hear that you passed it regardless. You're being inspected for something. You want to pass it, correct? You don't want to fail it. So, thank you for a $6.09 tip. I don't know the significance of the amount. Perhaps that's a currency, you know, change thing there. But thank you so much. You're the top tipper of the day. And congrats on passing. Very good. Excuse me. And by the way, I apologize. That was really disgusting. I didn't mean to burp like that. It came out of nowhere. If you want me to shout out a tip, you must put your name in the body of the tip. It's the only way I know who it's from. That was, what, 2-3 tips with no name? So FYI, please put your name in the body of the tip so I know who to address. If you want. You can be anonymous. That's perfectly fine. That's your prerogative. Okay? All right, continuing on. I received a $6 tip from Josh Groban. Thank you, Josh Groban. It's good to have you here today. I appreciate that you're a fan of my content. I didn't know. But now that I know, I'm very excited for the future, obviously. Who wouldn't be excited for Josh Groban to be watching, supporting their content? So Josh Groban says, would you buy a Tesla bot when it comes out? Think positive. I imagine it'll do all the work in your household. Taking out the trash, washing dishes, doing the laundry, vacuuming the floor. Oh, yeah. I really trust anything from under the guise of Elon Musk. I mean, everything that he puts out is so well tested, you know, with absolutely no flaws, shortcomings in design, or problems of any kind. I would absolutely do. In fact, what I would be sure to do is to arm that Tesla bot with many knives and guns to protect my house from home invasions, right? There's no way anything could possibly go wrong with that Tesla bot. And also be sure there's no way to shut it off. So that there's no fail-safe if something goes wrong to turn it off. Because there's no way anything would ever go wrong with it, right? Exactly. I received a $2 tip from Nuzzy Futz. He says, how do you like your mini PC? I was thinking about buying one. I've heard horror stories about reliability. I have literally barely used it. If you remember when I got the mini PC last year, the first thing we did with it is we set up Chrono Trigger. And I did a retro playthrough of Chrono Trigger on it, the Steam version. And it ran beautifully for that. I think it crashed, like the game crashed once or something like that. I think it might have blue screened once, but, you know, that's par for the course for using PCs in general. So I think it had like one time there was an error, but outside of that, I was about a month I was using it for the Chrono Trigger playthrough, and we didn't really have any issues. After that, we didn't really use it again until the Christmas event. Christmas Marathon, we played a couple of games on it, if you remember. And it seemed to run the games fine. Outside of that, we've used it for nothing. One of my original ideas was to play Fightcade, which is the online emulation suite, to play retro games over the internet against other people for posterity purposes. And then I found out, oh yeah, you can easily just resolve someone's IP using Fightcade. Because it's like direct connection. There's no like central server just connecting to another person directly. So because of that, they could easily use it. There's no protections. Anyone could just run like a third-party background software and find out your IP address. So you know that's the first thing that would happen if I used it. So I never used Fightcade. So, you know, I'm kind of stuck there. So the ideas that we had for using it kind of went. But now with this Indies event that's going to happen on Saturday, it looks like I'll be using it all day for a whole day, and we'll test it out, right? I guess we'll see firsthand. So let's hope for the best. Hope it doesn't crap out. Okay. I received another $2 tip from Dan the Man. Thank you to Dan the Man for a $2 tip. I appreciate that. Good to see you, Dan the Man. I received a $12.18 tip. Another weird amount. From Lawo. He says, the inspection was for cleanliness of my store. I decided to send more support. Thank you, Lawo. So now I know it was from you earlier. Thank you so very much, Lawo. That is the biggest tip of the day. Now we can actually get a legit name up on the leaderboard. Again, I'm going to assume that the amounts are weird because there's probably a currency exchange there, right? You don't have to say anything. I'm just guessing. I don't want you to put information out there about yourself or anything. But thank you, Lawo, for the tip. Okay. All right. Do we have any further topics of discussion? Anything? We have nothing on the YouTube side today, by the way, just for clarification. No super chats, no memberships. That's why I haven't shouted anything out besides Abu's re-upping. Today would be a great day for that. In fact, hold on a second here. How about this? You ready for this? I just dropped a 5-member bomb on the community. Congratulations to Miggy Martz, Mr. Slothington, Glimmer, Bill Williams, and Gameboy84. Congrats to all of you. You have just received a gifted membership. I have 10 of those to give out a month. I figured I would give out some today and probably some tomorrow for the Street Fighter stream, right? So congrats to everyone who just got a gifted membership. I hope you enjoy it. Happy new release day, right? Although, I'll be honest, am I expecting big numbers or anything for Hellblade 2? No, I'm not. I don't think that we're going to get anything big today. I think we'll get a decent crowd. And I hope that you guys, again, those who are ready to chill with me and enjoy the game for its cinematic qualities and story, that's what this game shines at. This is not a game that's riveting in the gameplay department or anything like that. But it's good variety. It's going to be something interesting to mix stuff up here. And I hope that you guys will enjoy it with me. Please stick around after the show ends, because I would love to enjoy a different kind of game with all of you. Okay? Cool. Did I play The Messenger? No, I did not. Lucas says it's a good Metroidvania style game. I skipped most Metroidvania games in the last 10 years, no lie. I really like Metroidvanias, but every time I try to play one, they usually don't go very well. So So the last time people convinced me to play one was Metroid Dread, and I was like, nah, I'm not going to play it because the Metroidvanias never work. And people were like, no, we promise you, if you play Metroid Dread, it'll work. Well, in general, all right, we got a decent audience. I didn't get a big audience for it. I got a decent audience for it, but there were some people who really were nice, and essentially they wanted to help, so they supported those streams. So it made it viable. But most times when I play Metroidvania games, they don't get much attendance. I don't know why. Maybe they're one of those games that are more fun to play than watch, perhaps. Game Boy, I'm very glad. He says, how's it hanging? Stoked about that gifted membership. I'm glad you received it, Game Boy. Will I ever replay Max Payne 3 again? It's backwards compatible, says Gary. I don't know. I hated it when it came out as a new release. But man, it was just a buggy mess at launch. But maybe I would like it more today. I don't know. Lipsian says, did Tunic get nominated for all of the marathon? It's a game you would love for sure. Nope. No, it did not. Or at least, if it did get nominated, it was only like a single nomination. It didn't make it to the voting phase at all. Nope. Fun fact, Sea of Stars is actually a prequel to The Messenger. Certain characters in Sea of Stars are in fact in The Messenger. Oh, I did not know that. Vader, I don't know what you're talking about. He says, you're selling the game short. It's actually pretty good. What game? What are you talking about? Messenger? Will I ever forgive Stuttering Craig and do a collab in the future? Well, first of all, I never did a collab with Stuttering Craig. Did an interview with Stuttering Craig, which originally wasn't supposed to be an interview. It was supposed to be me appearing on their show. And then they turned it into an interview as a qualification for me to appear on their show as a regular guest. Then after the interview, they canceled the offer to be on their show as a regular guest, i.e. it was a bait and switch for personal gain, which I didn't know at the time. After that, Craig proceeded for months to make negative content about me to milk my hater base who were so dumb they kept throwing money at him. At this point, finally that dried up and he stopped doing it, right? But why on earth would I want to be doing anything with that man? When someone in life mistreats you, do you then go back to them repeatedly over and over and over and over for things? Why would you want to do anything, associate or anything with that person? Like, what are you talking about? In addition, that show, right, went in a way that isn't even what it was. It was supposed to be, when it rebooted last year, a show about pop culture and gaming. That's why it was called Side Scrollers. Now, the show essentially is a show chasing political topics and clout and things like that to get notoriety so that they can get views and money. It has nothing to do with its original core design anymore. So why on earth would I want to be associated with that? Right? Again, the whole idea a year ago was it was the rebooting of a really cool podcast from over 15 years prior that was all about games, right? Kat is replaying Fallout 3 right now, and she's enjoying it a lot because she's going back and doing a lot of the missions she missed in her first run. Lavo says, if someone is awful to you and keeps doing it, don't let them use you like that again. Exactly. You know, sadly, there's just people out there that don't learn that lesson, or they feel like the only way they can be pertinent is to keep getting abused, which is really fucked up when you think about it. And I know people like that. I know people who like you, like, well, I don't understand why that person will continue to be abused on the internet and do this and that. It's because sadly those people feel like that's an endless cycle they're stuck in, and they have absolutely no way to get any notoriety or make a living without it. Luckily for me, that's not the case, right? Luckily for me, I have a viewer base that likes who I am and what I do. Positivity in the content, not negativity, toxicity, drama. Instead, it's good stuff. And I'm happy for that. I'm grateful for that. Thank you for that, for allowing me to be who I am and make the content that I make, and not have to go down that toxic toilet of YouTube infamy. Okay? I'm happy for that. That's what I mean. Yeah, if I was desperate and the only way I can get views and attention on the internet would be to be on someone's show and some drama purpose, then yeah, then probably I would go to Stuttering Craig and say, hey, can I be on the show again? Let's just do it all again, right? I'm sure he'd say, sure, because man, that would blow us up again, right? But I, been there, done that. That's not the kind of person I am. you know? As I said, I feel like in the last year, I've now done a good job of staying away from all of that nonsensical drama, right? After I kind of learned my lesson, I said, let's not do that. Let's stay the hell away from all that crap for the good of my own sanity and the community. I want the community to come here and feel like they can have fun and they can enjoy and hang out and have a good time together, correct? So as a community, I'm trying to do the best thing. I don't want to make drama for you guys or make problems for you guys, right? And I'm happy for that, you know? So there you go. Ooh, excuse me. By the way, for the record, and I'm not shitting you here, I don't know if it was legit or not because I paid no attention to it. I just saw it, read it fast, laughed, and said, fuck this, and deleted it. I got an email supposedly from Stuttering Craig like 2 months ago. I'm shitting you not. He says, hey, you want to come on the show again? It's our anniversary show now. And I know that you don't like us or anything, but, you know, just to have you on for like a second, that would be really cool. I couldn't believe it. So I don't know if it was legit or not. I'm thinking maybe it might have been a spoof. Someone like faking being Stuttering Craig. I can't imagine that that guy would actually be that dumb to write me that email. I mean, maybe he is, but I don't know, you know? Well, I don't know if it was real or not. That's the problem with the internet. Again, and we're not even talking AI. All the time, people try to do that shit. They try to impersonate others. There actually was something really messed up that did happen last year. I didn't talk about this publicly. I'll just mention it briefly here. Someone did actually try to impersonate the side scrollers after our interview to make them look really, really bad. And I luckily recognized that it was fake, and I let them know that someone was trying to impersonate them. I basically did them a solid that I didn't have to do because they had treated me so badly. But at that point, like, I got to do what's better. Like, you got to be the bigger person in these situations. So what someone had done, they'd gotten wind of what their email address was for the show, and they were sending out fake emails to people involved with the show that were really messed up. Like the one they sent to me was like, so you're going to come back on our show now, whether you like it or not, because if you don't, then we're going to work with others to make drama content, and we're going to try to harass your family members and shit like that. I'm not kidding you. Like, I got an email that was like really threatening. And I was like, wow. Like, I can't imagine the audacity. Now they're really revealing themselves of who they really are. And then I thought to myself, I don't think this is real because how in earth would that happen? Right? Like, they would basically be putting themselves out there legally, because that's especially that's like extortion or blackmail. So basically, you're gonna come back on our show for us to rip you a new asshole a second time, and if you don't, we're gonna do all these awful things to you and your family members. Is essentially what the email said. And I was like, they couldn't do that. Like, they could actually legally get in trouble for that if they sent an email out like that. So I looked into it and I found out, guess what? It was someone spoofing their email address. And I sent that to them, and they were like, thanks for telling us, because that's really messed up, and we wouldn't do that, you know. We wouldn't do that to you or anything like that, which I didn't think they would, right? But that's what I mean. People do this kind of shit all the time. They try to impersonate others to try to cause drama. It's fucked up what people try to instigate. You know what I mean? All right. Anyway, I think it's time to end the show. Thank you guys for a chill podcast. I appreciate that. And I hope that you'll stick around for the game. Really, I do. I hope that you will stick around for the game. I feel like this is going to be a fun day of a new release if we give it an honest shot and a chance. Not we shoot the game down immediately because it's shorter, because it doesn't have insane riveting gameplay. You know, I feel like as a narrative game with great visuals, it could be really cool. And I want to give it that chance, just like the first game. I felt like it was a really good game because of that. So I hope that you guys will stick around for it, okay? But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Tomorrow, obviously, I'm going to be giving you guys the full skinny on what I thought about the game. Also, I'm curious if Capcom is ever going to release patch notes for the Street Fighter 6 update tomorrow, because they still haven't. Can you believe it's less than 24 hours? And if you can believe it, they haven't said that what the changes are yet. So I'm hoping maybe tomorrow on the show that will be released and we can sit down and discuss it before I jump into the gameplay, or else it's going to kind of be flubbing about trying to figure it out for ourselves, you know? But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow with the Hellblade rundown. Thanks, guys. See you later.